Welcome back to Disrupt for Good. Today's guest is a powerhouse in luxury real estate, known to many from Netflix's Selling Sunset, but her story goes far beyond the show. From building her career in Los Angeles to making a strategic move to Miami and scaling a team, she's someone who understands how to evolve and win in changing markets. She's also been incredibly open about personal challenges, showing a level of strength and honesty that's impacted far more than just her industry. Today we're talking real estate, reality TV, and everything in between. Maya, welcome to Disrupt for Good. Hi guys, I have Maya Vander from Selling Sunset here on Disrupt for Good, and she's also a superstar killing it in Miami real estate. So I'm really excited to have her on the podcast today to share her story and all the things that's going on in Miami real estate and her journey on the show as well. So thank you, Maya, for joining me today. It's really such a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Like between showings and taking the dog to the vet, I found time to do the podcast.
And I can't believe it. And I know you have 3 kids, so you're really juggling it all.
And it's 11 a.m. and I'm taking my first coffee. I'm dying. I'm like, anyways.
You're going to need a lot more than that today to keep going, powering through. So I promise we will keep it pain-free. I want to dig in. I might as well just get started. You've built a career across 2 of the most competitive luxury markets in the country, I would say, LA and now Miami. What originally pulled you into real estate, and when did you realize you could actually win in this space?
Yeah, so I was working retail. I was working in a clothing store for a very long time, selling clothes in LA. And my mom told me, why don't you go sell homes? It's much more lucrative. But I was always a person that wanted like stability, the paycheck, this and that. I like, to be comfortable. So I decided to take the chance and I stepped out of my comfort zone and got my real estate license in LA 13 years ago, actually almost 14 years ago. And the real estate class, the exam, that was the easy part in a sense. It's still hard, still have to study. But then it's like, okay, now what? I didn't grow up in LA. I didn't know anyone. I mean, didn't have a huge network, any connections. I really had to start from scratch. And that actually applies the same thing for Miami. Once we moved to Miami, I got my license in Florida, hang my license here. Meantime, the show got picked up, so I flew back and forth. But I knew like 0 people in Miami, so I had to really start in a new market, which is, it's been really good. Because, in LA, right, when it took me, like, I was doing real estate in LA 5 years. And then after 5 years, right, kind of like when I'm starting to finally, like, have it more stable and establish my business, then when we relocated to Miami. I've been to Miami right now 9 years, but I've been traveling to do Selling Sunset for 5. So really I would say only the last maybe 2.5 years, I start taking real estate in Miami more seriously once I was done with the show.
Right. And I would say, as someone who didn't have the connections and the Rolodex out in LA or even in Miami as well, it must have taken a little bit of time to really get to that place to build your reputation in this industry, because it really is a relationship game in real estate as well. I feel like if you want to talk about that, and also you made a great point earlier about real estate in general. It's a game of, you're playing the long game. You're not getting
100%.
a paycheck. You're going commission to commission. So I don't know if you want to discuss that a little bit when you first got into the industry. It's a really good
When
point.
I first got into, yeah, of course. And people, I mean, I want people to know that because again, they watch the real estate show, like Selling Sunset. Obviously, there are other shows. I know Ryan had a show. I never watched, honestly, those. But I know how in the TV, like they make everything look so glamour. Oh, boom, we sell this. We make $200,000 commission. But at the end of the day, like it's a grind. When I started real estate, I had 4 other jobs in LA again because I didn't want to give up that comfort, the cushion, the comfort zone that I was, relying on in terms of income. I didn't come from money. I didn't have a backup. So I had like 4 jobs, retail, modeling. I was working in a nightclub in LA. I was doing some retail stuff in downtown in LA, like wholesale, whatever, everything with retail. And I had my license. So my first deal was a small condo. It took me like 6 months to sell it. and not sorry, not to sell it, to get my first deal. It was a small condo back then in LA, believe it or not, was like 350,000, something like that. And I had to give a referral fee because my mentor gave me that lead, the client. And it was a very complicated deal, which I didn't even know what I'm doing, but I did it. And that was my first deal. I think I made maybe $6,000 in my first year in real estate.
Yeah, I believe it.
Second year of real estate, it was like also a struggle. But then I had a big client, I would say at the time, that I met randomly being out and about. And I gave my business card, and that was a big deal. And it allowed me to quit my other jobs and actually focus on real estate full time.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And also, I do feel like real estate is such a 24/7 job, and you really do need
Oh,
to be committed to your clients fully.
100%.
Yeah,
You can't, the thing is, I love real estate, but the stuff that I like less about real estate is that you cannot really disconnect. Sure, you can set your phone and you can tell your assistant to get the phone, but at the end of the day, the client wants you to be available because maybe that client has time now at 8 p.m. on a Sunday and that's when they need to talk. So I'm going to pick up the phone. That's just the type of, person that I am. I always want to give service to my clients. So it is 24/7. It's very difficult to disconnect. And frankly, sometimes I get burned out because of that. um, so sometimes with me, like I try to okay, do a couple of deals, get, good pay, and then okay, I can take it easy for 1 month and not go crazy and prospect and try to feed my pipeline. And because you do get burned out, and I've been doing it for 14 years, so I really need to protect myself, my time and my energy
I resonate
and
with
my
that a lot.
mindset too.
Yeah, I resonate with that a lot. And on the show, Jason mentioned that you were one of the first agents of the Oppenheim Group. Is that true? Is
Oh,
that
you
where you
mentioned
were?
that? I always mention it because I was the first one.
You were? And is that where you first started your career, or did you pivot
No.
from another brokerage?
No, no, I came from a different brokerage. I was actually in two brokerages before. My first year was a boutique brokerage in LA, and then I went to Keller Williams, and then I was door knocking, and Jason at the time was opening his brokerage. He came from another brokerage, and then he opened his own shop in Sunset Plaza, and I was door knocking, and I was seeing all this beautiful marketing material that Jason was leaving on the front doors of these houses. And like, how am I going to compete with this guy? So I decided, so then he approached me on Facebook, or we met somewhere in like a party, because, it's a small community in LA. At the end of the day, if you go to the same places. And it's like, hey, I just opened the O group. Would you want to join? It's me, Brett, and Graham. Graham was another agent at the time. So I was the first one. I love
That's
the fact it
incredible.
was sexy, boutique, great location.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. It's such a great story, and it's so amazing to, not have like you could say like you have the bragging rights to that story where like you really are the first one to be
I was
part
the
of it.
first one. And
Yeah.
Jason and I have good relationship. Like he just referred me a client. I'm closing a deal with them in 2 days. He's very happy. Clients are happy. We have a lot of respect to each other. I know him for a very long time. I mean, they've been doing, 14 years.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. I want to discuss your role in the show a little bit. You were always seen as one of the more grounded, drama-free agents on the show. Was that intentional, or is that kind of, which I can tell right now based on meeting you in the past 10 minutes, your natural kind of flow state?
Basically, yes, 100%. I mean, for me, it wasn't an act. Sometimes actually in the show, you have to ask a question, but that's my personality. If people see me asking the questions or like instigating or whatever, it's just because I know what the producer wants me to deliver. So I will ask a question that might not be comfortable to some people, but I'm very honest, very direct. And honestly, like because I was doing real estate at the time when we start filming a couple of years, for me, real estate is like my bread and butter. That's really my full-time job. I couldn't risk being crazy on a show and lose, frankly, respect clients because I am here for the term. And with all these real estate shows, with just in general reality shows, you have the 5 minutes of fame. Obviously, Selling Sunset is a sensational, whatever you call it, show, and it's very successful. They're going to start filming, I think, season 10 soon, so which is incredible. But okay, let's see how many more seasons and how lucrative it can really be. So I chose, and if you choose to be an influencer and doing that stuff, by all means, you can make good money. I chose to just do real estate full time, and that's obviously like where my focus shifted. So I had to be somewhat respectful fall and stay away from drama in the show.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, where the line is of where you can cross that bridge, because I feel like some clients would be deterred from picking a broker who engages in drama on the show and picks fights with someone over petty bullshit, so to speak. And I feel like you conducted yourself so well on the show and carried yourself with such poise. So that was really something that I commended.
And I got lucky too, right, with the editing because editor can twist things and make you look more crazy than you are. I can roll my eyes on something, they will put it somewhere else. So it's very tricky to see how the editing works and plays. But yeah, I am who I am. Obviously, very honest. So
Yeah.
and no BS essentially.
Yeah, and
And
my
I don't
favorite.
like fight. I don't like confrontations. I'm not comfortable with that stuff.
I'm not either. And my favorite is like when you try to use like the catchphrases or like the slogans in like the American, so to speak, like jargon, and it kind of gets mixed up and jumbled. It's my favorite, like on the show. I love it. And they're like,
I
do
know. I
you
try to
mean?
translate the Hebrew to English, but I'm like, it doesn't. My husband can understand what I want to say, what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I had my one liner. Look, Selling Sunset was a great, great experience. I love it. I love the show. The cast is great. We do get along. Obviously, now some maybe less than others, but it was a very good time, and so thankful to do it. It's just it was hard flying back and forth, but I did it, and it helps. It helps with business. Obviously, it gives you great exposure. It can also actually intimidate clients from reaching out to you because they think you're too busy or you're only selling, $20 million places.
Right.
So it could also be the opposite a little bit. But yeah,
We've had that effect in New York as well with the Owning Manhattan show from Sirhan as well, where people do typically believe that you only sell high-end luxury, but we're like, we sell everything. We're from 500,000 up, so it doesn't really just deter you from.
and I do it. Look, I have a team. Sometimes I'll take it up on myself. Sometimes I'll have the team. Depends what I have going on in the same time. But listen, for me, money, I don't know. This is because I didn't come for money. And yes, obviously, I want to sell $10 million houses all day long, but it's not always the case. Sometimes, those buyers are more picky. It takes time. Sometimes the listings are sitting forever. Um, and to me, money is money. And I don't reject business because you could do a small rental or a small deal. And then all of a sudden, you get the referral from that. So my mindset is like to treat every client the same, whether if they buy in a small condo or they buying like a 5, 6, $7 million house.
Right.
Like I'm here to help and be as resourceful as possible, and that's just my goal. That's just my mindset.
Absolutely. And I actually wanted to ask you about becoming a team leader because I feel like that is such an amazing position, but it is something very different than probably where you started from in real estate and where you were at the O Group in LA when you transitioned to where you are in Miami. How intentional were you about that, and when did you realize you couldn't do it all on your own when you moved to Miami?
Really because of the show, because I start getting like some leads, not even because of the show, but just like I start getting clients because I was advertising on Zillow and all that. I'm like, okay, I can't be selling film and selling sunset, and it's very time consuming. It's like really like you focus on selling sunset and serve a client in Miami. So I'm like, okay, let me have, a girl, Galit, she's on my team. She can help me. We took the real estate license here together. We know each other for a long time, so she can help me. Then, I had, because the show came out, then people start reaching out to me. Oh, you have a team, would like to work with you, would like to shadow you. And I get those emails all the time. I'm very picky on who I'm taking on. They don't have to be necessarily the most expert agent, but it has to click and it has to have good culture. Right now, we're only five ladies on my team, and I'm not looking to expand it for that reason, because I try to stay in touch with my team and call them all the time, check on them. If I give them leads, I'm usually very involved with the leads, maybe not 100%, but I trust them enough to carry on. But yeah, if I'm going to have 20 agents, I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't have the time. I have 3 kids, I
No.
have a dog, I have a husband. So 5 ladies on my team, it's more than enough for me.
Yeah, and I feel like on the show they talk about that family environment, and I feel like that's so important, that culture where you kind of create that uh, place for everyone to feel like they're heard and seen and have that support. And I feel like that number of 5 people on a team, I at least feel that with my team in New York, is such a great position to be in where you have that support and understanding with people who are a little more experienced or people who are even more like on the junior end and have that team lead,
Right.
but
And
also
I
be have a
do.
good mix.
I have like two agents who are like relatively, junior. They're great, they're ambitious. And I want to say, hey, you need my help. Do you need me to look at that form? Like I want to give them something. If they're on my team and they're giving me a commission from their deals, I need to give them something. So I try to give the social media exposure. I try to give them leads because, as you know, with real estate, nobody give you any clients. You go, good luck and seek on your own. Then that's how I was with my real estate. No, nobody ever gave me anything. I really had to, and it's very difficult to get business. It's hard. You gotta like put yourself out there. You gotta spend money on marketing. You gotta network. You gotta. It's a very like hard business, and everybody a real estate, and their cousins is a realtor and all that. So I try to provide some value to my team, and I think five is the sweet spot for me. Like I don't need more.
Absolutely. And I think nowadays also social media is so important and some people are not interested in putting themselves out there, but having that platform and having, someone who's also willing to do that and assist in that direction is so great.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I want to tap into your time from Selling Sunset a little bit more. Um, from your time on Selling Sunset, who do you still keep in touch with today and how have those relationships evolved since stepping away from the show?
I would say social media is the majority of contact. I see what the girls are doing. I try to like comment. I speak with Davina quite often. I would say here and there, once in a while, Emma, Amanda, Mary, but very rarely. Chriselle, obviously, like she's busy traveling. But I do stay in touch with them. Look, we hang out a lot when I lived in LA, but I'm away, I'm in Miami. Sometimes if they come to Miami, maybe I'll meet with them, but it's, again, it's scheduling and timing. But I have a good relationship with all of them. I mean, we had a great time. The show, I mean, my son is 7. We started filming almost 7 years ago. And before that, I knew Jason and Brett. I knew Nicole for a very long time, Christine before she was Christine, and Heather also. So I know the behind the scene before Selling Sunset. And it was I do miss it. I miss the timing of filming, but yes, obviously things change and it's hard to stay in touch all the time and text and this and that. If something happened and I see something that break, like Chelsea's divorce, I reached out to her just to see if she's okay. Um, but yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
that's
Yeah. It kind of comes back to that family environment where you guys will always stay connected through that thread. And
right.
I loved seeing you kind of come back to this show, I think maybe a season or two ago, for an
Yeah, they probably
episode.
wanted me to steal some things, and I came there. I'm like, I was so excited to film. It was so nice to see people, but I'm like, I don't even know Brie. I don't know that Alana. They're nice, but I'm like, I felt like I'm like totally outside of this whole thing because I mean, we were the original crew, and then all of a sudden you have all the new girls, and I'm like, I don't know them. I have no connection really to them,
Yeah,
but
like I feel like now at this point, like you probably feel a far step a little bit removed from like
yeah.
the scene a little bit, which I mean, I feel like it's kind of
Which is nice, to be honest with you. Like it's nice to be recognized everywhere I go here. Not that, I mean, most of the time I would say people know me. It gives you the credibility, the respect. So it's a lot of benefit from the show. But is my goal to be out and about there, be famous and be like recognized all day long? No, my goal is to sell real estate and make money doing real estate and take it hopefully to like, invest my money and do other things. So that's really my goal.
right. And I feel like after you kind of left, and correct me if I'm wrong if you think that this perspective is wrong, but I think that the show kind of took a different turn once you left. Like that season, after season 5, following forward, season 6, and following after, it kind of changed, and dynamics I feel like have shifted ever since. And
So
some storylines have gotten a little darker.
yes, yeah, I haven't watched it actually since I left. I haven't watched any of the
Really?
seasons.
That's
Yes.
shocking.
Because I'm like, I have 3 kids. I mean, honestly, even with Selling Sunset, I watched it because I was in it. So I was like, you sometimes fast forward, but we were so into it. But I just don't have time to watch reality TV. That's why I haven't watched Ryan Show. I haven't watched MDL in years. And I love those shows, but I don't have the time to binge it because if I'm gonna watch TV, it has to be like a good like show, like Ozark, Breaking Bad, something like that.
Right.
I mean, I watch The Office because it's fun and easy, but I don't watch reality. I just don't have the time. I feel like my time should be spent like in a better thing. But anyways, I do know what happened after because obviously I stayed in touch with the girls and I heard the drama and you see the news and all that. I agree with you. I think it became a little bit dark and a lot of like stuff happens between the cast members there. Some people stop talking to each other. I think it's a shame. If you ask me, I think season one was probably the best. It was more real estate. It was really like women empowerment, real estate. Here we are. Yes, there is a little bit drama, but to the production point, drama does sell. And if you have maybe less drama, it's not gonna get people talk.
Right.
But like I don't know. I like season one, season two were more like simple and more focused of women doing real estate versus women fighting in a nice house about something.
That's how I always viewed the show as someone also in real estate. I always enjoyed it watching the real estate end of it. I could care less about, the little fights that get picked up on screen. I mean, I guess for viewers who are not involved in real estate, they enjoy it so much, but I also completely agree with your perspective where it's just kind of like, what are we doing here? And also in these professional settings, it kind of doesn't really make sense or represent what real estate or what individuals in real estate typically are doing on a day-to-day
And
basis.
that's the thing. I think that's also the fine line. People ask me, "Oh, what about selling Miami or whatever?" I'm like, the thing is with the producer, they want drama, right? So if you're not going to provide them the drama, it's just not going to fly because then you're just a boring guy. So what do I do? Do I provide the drama? Do I risk 14 years of real estate? I can stay Switzerland, but then I need other people to have the drama. So it is the fine line because if you're a serious real estate agent, you can't just cave to the drama. If you have business, if you have book of business and clients, you can't just act like the way you act in certain positions. You just can't. Otherwise, who's going to hire you?
Right.
um so that's the fine line between, okay, how much drama do you give to the producer to make a show successful? How much are you willing to risk? If you don't have much to risk, then obviously go get the drama, but provide it. But I mean, for me, like it's just too much for me to risk.
And you actually just mentioned like a Selling Miami or something like that. Has a producer or someone from any type of network wanted to pitch like a type of show like down there to you or to anyone down there that you're aware of, just out of curiosity?
No, but maybe Ryan knows better. I don't know.
Um,
No, I mean, I think they should, but again, you got to deal with people. I mean, frankly, if you're gonna hire people, you should probably hire people who are not really serious in real estate, so they will provide the drama, and then you have the people who actually do real estate to be more like neutral, because otherwise, if you're again serious agent, you're not gonna go crazy on a show.
Correct. And that's why I feel like they're very particular and very selective on who they're going to pick to go on a show when it
Right.
comes to casting. My question for you is Miami specific now. After COVID, I noticed a very influx of people migrating down from New York and other markets as well.
Mhm.
Have you noticed the market, remaining as hot as it is and being oversaturated down in Miami and Florida in general? I'm sure that that at that time it was as busy as it was, and has it remained that way, or what have you seen as someone who's so
We're still missing
busy?
good inventory here. So I think when there is a look, I have two listing right now. Within 24 hours, I got an offer, full ask or close to ask on the other one. So there is like demands in certain pockets, depending what. I think the condo market here definitely slowed down for different reasons: bad management, high HOA fees, poor constructions. We have issues with condos here, but they're still moving. It's just they're moving slower. The single family home in certain pockets, if there is something, it's just very simple. If the house is priced well and it doesn't need any work or updating and it looks presentable and easy to show, it will move. People don't want to do any work. That's what's just what I've been noticing.
Right.
And but the demand obviously slowed down since COVID. It's not the same. Not everybody are jumping here. A lot of people had to move out because back to the office, when they stop working remotely. So it's a mix. But the market here is it's a steady market. I have buyers, I have sellers. Things are moving. Depending where I try to focus on pockets that are like very desirable here.
I was gonna ask you actually, in terms of the pockets of Miami, like I know like South Beach is so hot for certain, people, and I know,
Yeah, South Beach is like it's like the old news. No
yeah, old
kidding.
news. No, like tell me like where like would you like want to see yourself, like where other people are like missing out on, and like in Miami, like what's like the new trending spot like in Miami for people to like maybe like hit on, that's like kind of like people are missing out on or sleeping out on.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Coconut Grove, Coral Gables. Those pockets are great. They're still close to Brickell. Yeah, you're not going to have the ocean, but you drive 20 minutes and you can be in the ocean. I think those are great pockets. I think Miami Shore is a cute pocket if you're going more north. Obviously, you have Bal Harbour. So there are other pockets that are fun. Brickell and down and Edgewater, those are great pockets for like young professional. But I would hands down Coconut Grove, Coral Gables by far, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even though it's like close to the school and all that, like Miami and all of that, you know, hustle and bustle, you could call it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's Coconut Grove is just such a sweet pocket. It's a great. You have the bay, you have the marina, you have great walkability, cute little downtown, great private schools, public schools. It's awesome. Coral Gables the same. It's not that intense. Doesn't feel as
Hmm.
intense.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to ask you one last question before you have to go. I know you have a
Perfect. Yeah,
crazy.
I have tank top and shorts, and like I gotta like change quickly and look professional.
I know you have a showing.
But
I know we were
I'm very
talking.
quick.
I know
Yeah.
you have like a crazy day ahead of you, and that's why we were talking about the coffee earlier. When you look at your career now across markets, media, and life experiences, what does success mean to you today versus when you first started?
Wow. I
I
mean,
know
look,
it's a
I
loaded
got married,
question.
I have kids, so that's success is like personal on personal level too. I created a family, and I think that's an amazing that's success on its own. If we're talking professionally, um, I think I have more honestly just money, like financial freedom.
Yeah,
I'm not completely there yet, but it's not like I'm rolling in with private jets and a boat. And frankly, I don't really care. I'm afraid of private jets, but
me too.
y- it's like, yeah, I rather fly
I'm
commercial.
good.
I know it's like, but just like if I want to go and buy something, I can just go and buy something. Because few years ago, I couldn't even like write a check for $100, like because I was like just, you don't all your saving. It's very difficult to save money. So it's nice to work hard, save money, pay your taxes, and still have some left for like fun things. I think that's for me a success. If I can help my family, that's a success. And when I'm talking about my family, my extended my mom, my brother, to me that's a success. So yeah,
That was
I
beautiful.
it sounds so shallow with money, but it's really,
Wait, it's
and
really
just
true.
and create like business. Like, I created business from scratch in Miami. I'm competing with a lot of top agents who've been doing it for 15 years straight in Miami. And I'm essentially a newbie in Miami. I spend a lot of money on marketing, just to push myself here in this market. And I know it's a process, it's going to take time, but so far so good.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And I think as someone also building their business in New York, I completely understand that mentality of hustling and trying to get yourself out there in a business where there's a lot of people out there who are already established and have that reputation and a already crazy oversaturated business and area and
Yeah.
industry. So I completely resonate with that. And Maya, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you, and I've been a fan of yours since the early days of Selling Sunset. You've always been a true voice of reason on the show, and it really has been great to have a deep dive conversation with you today. So thank you, and good luck with your showing and
Thanks, Dylan. Yeah,
everything
it's
else.
actually they're on an offer, but now they want to bring the dad, and I'm like, here we
Oh,
go.
geez.
You know?
Here we go. It's like another character coming into the mix.
Exactly. It's like really you cannot make a decision on your own. You're 35 years old.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
All right. Well, good luck and keep me posted.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank
Ciao.
you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.